Superhero Smash, by the way, the name of his level. So
Yes.
if you didn't say it.
Superhero Smash.
So I will do a quick presentation. We're just now at about an hour, so if everybody can hang out still, that's cool. If anybody has to go at any point during the next, 30 minutes as we finish stuff up or whatever, feel free. No, I'm not going to take it personally. I assume Walker's not going to take it personally either. Somebody's got to get going. This is a game that Ben from Brass Engine and myself, along with Dan and David from Brass Engine, we were judges during the last game jam, and we decided that, we don't get to play along for prizes, but we should be able to play along for fun. And so we decided we would work on a game while we were hanging out, because Ben and I had both the overnight shifts, and we didn't want to just stare at each other for 6 hours at a time overnight. So we figured it'd be better to work on a project instead. And the Friday night brainstorming session went so far afield between the four of us. If we tried to make any number of those games, I feel like we would just fall into some sort of weird tabletop game design black hole, because we went in so many different directions so quickly and came back and then went in a different direction so fast. It was so crazy. We came down to a couple different things. The illusion was the thing for this last game jam, was the theme that Lunchboxers chose. We didn't choose it. Lunchboxers chose it. So illusion was the theme, and so we were trying to figure out. Okay, and listen, sometimes themes work out great for the game dev side, and sometimes themes work out great for the tabletop side. Let me just tell you, illusion does not work out so great on the tabletop side, because it's very hard to make things not real when all you have are real things in front of you. It's very difficult to make this work. We came up with an idea using a couple different things. Deck building is something that I really like in games. It's something that if you've played a game like Dominion or Hearthstone, Magic the Gathering at some level as a deck builder, although not in the process of the game. Star Realms, there's just a ton of really great tabletop games that use deck building out there. Is it Ascension is on Steam? I think that's Ascension. The one that's been translated to digital that really took off. And then cooperation. We really wanted something to be cooperative, where it wasn't so much of the take that gotcha effect, because we wanted something where in this idea, this is actually kind of a dark game, and it's about overcoming dark things, but it kind of goes to some dark places. And we were like, if we're already kind of in dark places, I don't want to personally offend anyone at the table if we're kind of sort of already treading on dark territory. That doesn't really seem like a good idea to me. So in Amethod, you use your senses to ground you. The enemies are some sort of psychosis or illusion or hallucination, things like that could take you away from sensate reality. So you have to use your senses to kind of ground you. And apparently, I never got shared the actual. I don't think Ben wanted me to mess with his card layout so I don't have the actual card layout shared with me on Google Drive. Thanks, Ben. But you'll see some of them along the way here on the side. We're gonna have to go through all the rule set. I just want to show some things. These are our card backs that we came up with for the cards in the game. Came up with a way for your table to get set up. There's a way for, basically it's a standard setup of draw deck on the left, play area in the middle, and discard pile on the right for each individual player at the table. And then the active aberrations go in the middle of the table. And then we came up with, this was all done during Game Jam. So, I mean, the rule set we have written afterwards and put together afterwards, but all the graphic design you see was done within the realm of the Game Jam time frame. So all the icons were sight, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. All the aberration cards we pulled images for and crafted as we needed. Laid them out with all of our recipes for what you need to overcome them. And again, this is a game where everyone is going to play on the things out there in the middle, kind of almost like if you play the Harry Potter deck builder game, very similar to that. Something in the villain out in the middle, and you're all playing to try and defeat it. And in this, there's times where you are gonna have to. You can overcome things, but at a cost that that, again, this is a game that kind of discusses sanity and hallucinations and things like that, and you can end up taking things that, while you move past an obstacle in the game, it hurts the team overall because it makes you less effective as an individual player. And so you have to judge when you want to use those, when you want to take other penalties, things like that. And you kind of do that as a group as you move through. But repression, anguish, like I said, it's a dark game. I apologize. It was late at night. It was, it was a game jam. But the sense cards, we made them very simple. Tried to make them very easy to read. Item cards with all the icons and the information about what they do. Action cards, the verbs, the steps you take. The lucidity card is the thing that kind of it's like boom, sudden rush of lucidity, sudden rush of reality, but it makes you less ability, gives you less ability to deal with things later on as the group goes on, and the things you're fighting, the aberrations only get stronger as you go. So you have to very well judge when and where you use this. B decks and C decks, it starts out at a certain level, and as you go as a group, then you shuffle in new cards that are tougher, so you don't get tough things right off the bat. You kind of grow into them as a group. But because you're taking negatives along the way, we've stretched it out to the point where you should have probably taken a couple negatives by the time the strongest things come along. But at the same time that stronger villains come along, you're also getting stronger items and actions as well that provide more power. So, yep. And then that's that. So basically, this is something that Ben and I, like I said, we put in a lot of time overnight. Dan and David obviously helped with the beginnings and working through a lot of things. We didn't have a lot of time to play test, and we kind of we got everything finished at Game Jam. We're happy with it. We thought, okay, good exercise. There's somebody at the door. I don't know if that's somebody who needs in. Maybe not.
No.
Maybe not. We kind of sort of just set it aside as Game Jam ended. We moved along to something else. And then Ben ended up taking our new instructions and the card set, the print and play version of the card set.
Can I work in the back rooms while you guys work on your thing? Thank you. That's what I said. Thank you for your help.
And so we took the print and play, and Ben sent it to one of his playtest groups, a group of non-card game, non-deck building type players, very heavy Euro game type players. I believe they were up in Iowa, and they reported back that they absolutely positively loved it. They thought it was great. It just hit all the right points, and they loved it. And so we were both kind of like, because we weren't ready for that. And so now we have some decisions to make about what we want to do in the future with the game in that regard.
More playtesting.
More playtesting, definitely. Maybe if I get Ben to share me the card set, that'd be good. But the cards are regular size. They're made to be print and played on a normal printer, 9 to a sheet, and snipped and cut and slipped into. They can be slipped into magic sleeves very easily if you want to sleeve it to play it, or it could just be played on cardstock as is. So yeah, that's Amethod, which is obviously a play on A Method to Your Madness, but also, funnily enough, as I was telling James on the way over, scientifically now, if you put it all together in one word, it means without a method, a method. So
that
I
works
don't know.
too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, like I said, it was a game jam experiment by some of the judges, and now that it's leaked out in a couple different places, people have given us very positive reviews back, and so we will see. Questions, comments, anything?
Have you considered a social deduction element?
Yes, we have, actually. We considered that several times. We kept coming back to social deduction during our discussions leading up to the creation of a game on Game Jam, and yes, so I think Dan really wanted to make a social deduction game. Anybody else?
Have any plans for testing soon?
I think so. I think the first playtest here was so full with people that as board members / judges, we didn't want to crowd anyone else out or take up a lot of real estate. So we'll probably just do something privately. Obviously, we'll post in Discord when we do. So you know, I really like where we're at as far as design elements, illustration elements, those kind of things. So, like I said, yeah, just a matter of play testing and make sure that other people see it in this positive light.
Have you played or heard of Darkest Dungeon?
Yes, I have.
Makes me think a lot of that. The whole as you go on, you get stronger, but you have a lot more negatives. So
Yes.
the enemies get stronger.
Yeah.
As well.
And then
For
Darkest
sure.
Dungeon also like allows you to like throw away all the people with negatives and throw them onto the street. And
Can you do that in your game?
You would only be throwing yourself away,
Yes.
and your group needs you. Even if you can only draw one card and
Well,
play
no,
one
I mean,
thing,
the group
like
votes.
To kill
You're a detriment.
Yeah, you gotta stop
you're
playing.
literally-
maybe we need a sacrificial lamb game mechanic.
Oh
where
my
I'm sorry, you
goodness.
gotta go. Again, like I said, it does go to some dark places.
That would
We have to work together to figure out who is the detriment
Right,
and
right.
socially deduce that.
There you go. Yes, yes. If you
each
draw
game
the
you have one sacrifice you can make.
right,
Benefits everyone except for
the one person who gets voted off the island.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they're out of the game and mad at everyone.
So,
But it was for the greater good.
Oh yeah.
The
So
greater
it's
good.
still a team game. Your team still won.
you're not holding the conch, Piggy. So. Well, yeah. So appreciate it. Thanks for letting us show what we did. Even the board members occasionally do fun stuff, as we'll see in just a second as well.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah.